Every interaction is a battlefield, and every perception you project is a weapon. In the theater of social exchange, those who fail to recognize the hidden currents of influence find themselves manipulated, ignored, or underestimated. The world does not grant respect as a courtesy. It is claimed through presence, awareness, and deliberate action. Ignorance is the enemy, not because it is malevolent, but because it leaves you exposed to forces you do not anticipate. Misjudgment operates like a silent assassin, striking at your reputation and weakening your position before you even realize the conflict has begun. Understanding this terrain is not optional. It is essential if you wish to navigate human dynamics with authority and confidence. Everyday exchanges are not trivial. They are micro-battles where intentions, body language, and timing dictate outcomes. Those unaware of this framework operate as pawns on a chessboard, reacting to external moves rather than controlling the game themselves. The first step toward mastery is recognizing these unseen patterns and asserting your mental presence as the foundation of influence. Every decision, every word, and every posture communicates power or surrender. Failing to command respect invites erosion of authority. When you allow yourself to be perceived as indecisive, uncertain, or reactive, others fill the vacuum with their own narratives. These narratives often diminish your value in subtle but cumulative ways, leaving you overlooked for opportunities, consultations, or leadership roles. Misperception has tangible costs. A colleague dismisses your contribution, a peer undermines your confidence in public, or a casual acquaintance tests boundaries that should have been unassailable. These moments may seem minor in isolation, yet their compounded effect shifts the balance of power in your interactions. Commanding respect is not about intimidation or dominance. It is about clarity, consistency, and the subtle assertion of personal standards. Observe carefully, act deliberately, and never allow your energy to be appropriated by others who lack alignment with your principles. Even small, deliberate shifts in conduct can plant the first flags on your social battlefield. Begin with your posture, your tone, and the economy of your words. Presence can be cultivated as a tangible force, calm, deliberate, and observant. For instance, if a co-worker challenges your proposal with unnecessary hostility, respond with measured acknowledgement rather than reflexive defense. By maintaining composure, you assert authority and signal that your position is neither fragile nor negotiable. This approach does not rely on coercion. It relies on internal sovereignty projected externally. Each micro-adjustment, pausing before, speaking, articulating points with precision, meeting glances without yielding, creates a ripple effect. Others begin to intuit that your mental ground is unshakable. This is the essence of strategic influence. Mastery over yourself translates into perceived mastery over the room. The battlefield is navigated through constant observation. Watch how others respond to your actions, noting patterns that indicate respect, hesitation, or challenge. Refine your approach to reward constructive engagement and calmly redirect friction when it arises. Your presence should function as both shield and spear, a shield against disrespect, and a spear that subtly commands alignment without overt aggression. Each encounter is an opportunity to reinforce authority, demonstrate consistency, and cultivate trust. Respect is rarely spontaneous. It accrues like experience points in a campaign, built from repeated intentional actions that communicate competence, calm, and strategic insight. Do not underestimate the power of small gestures and disciplined behavior. Even subtle cues such as deliberate eye contact, a measured pace of speech, and the careful choice of words can signal dominance and credibility. Weak, speaking rapidly, over-explaining, or apologizing excessively. Strong, measured speech, concise points, and calm acknowledgement of differing opinions. Weak, shifting posture, fidgeting or avoiding eye contact. Strong, stable posture, deliberate gestures, and controlled attention. These adjustments may seem minor, but they compound over time, establishing a reputation that precedes you. The key is repetition and consistency. Authority is cemented through habitual excellence in social navigation, not isolated demonstrations. Anchor your actions in a personal mantra that reinforces this strategic posture. Let it be simple, direct, and repeatable, a mental anchor to summon calm confidence in every interaction. Each micro-decision, each silent assertion, contributes to a visible aura of competence and presence that others cannot ignore. As you internalize this framework, you will find that people naturally orient toward your influence, offering cooperation, attention, and respect without overt prompting. In the theater of human dynamics, mastery begins internally and radiates outward, shaping perceptions before words are spoken and commands before requests are made. Stand firm, observe keenly, and act deliberately. Cultivate your presence as if it were a throne, each gesture a decree, each silence a signal, and each interaction a battlefield conquered with strategy and precision. I am the throne, the storm, the shadow. Your mind is the throne from which all influence flows, and every thought you cultivate shapes the way others perceive you. Respect is not granted by circumstance or title. It is claimed through the unwavering sovereignty of your inner kingdom. Begin by observing yourself with the precision of a general surveying the battlefield. Every emotional reaction, every fleeting impulse carries information about your vulnerabilities and your strengths. Emotional regulation is not a soft skill, it is the first fortress of authority. When you control your responses, you convey a presence that is deliberate, measured, and unassailable. Others instinctively sense this stability, and their behavior toward you adjusts accordingly. Sovereign awareness transforms ordinary social interactions into exercises of strategic influence, where your composure becomes both shield and signal. Of command. Strategic thought is the armor of the disciplined mind. Consider each conversation as a complex chessboard, where words, gestures, and silences are moves that can advance or undermine your position. Anticipate reactions before they manifest and plan your responses with precision. Like a seasoned player, recognize patterns in behavior, subtle cues that reveal intentions, and opportunities to assert authority without overt confrontation. This mental foresight prevents others from exploiting your blind spots and allows you to operate several moves ahead. In practice, if a colleague challenges your proposal aggressively, respond with measured acknowledgement of their perspective while calmly restating your point. This demonstrates control, preserves your authority, and subtly repositions the dynamic in your favor. Weak, reacting defensively and losing composure. Strong, observing, anticipating, and responding with controlled assertiveness. Mental armor is essential to protecting your internal narrative. Your self-respect must remain untarnished by external doubt, criticism, or manipulation. Just as a fortress shields its inhabitants from attack, a fortified mind resists erosion from careless words or misaligned agendas. Guard your thoughts, intentions, and emotional energy as you would defend a strategic outpost. Small deliberate shifts in posture, tone, and focus project strength outward, signaling that your internal kingdom is secure. This radiates authority without aggression. For example, when faced with unsolicited advice or criticism, maintain calm composure, nod in acknowledgement, and continue your course with silent confidence. Your conduct communicates competence, stability, and control far more than any defensive argument could. Embed these principles into daily practice to reinforce the throne within. Begin each day with reflection, assessing your emotional state, intentions, and social strategy. Identify patterns in your behavior that reinforce influence, and correct those that invite disrespect or uncertainty. Observe interactions carefully, noting how subtle adjustments in voice, gaze, and presence shift others' responses. Every gesture is a decree, every silence a proclamation of control. Emotional regulation, anticipatory thinking, and protective self-awareness together form a framework that transforms your presence from passive to commanding. Over time, people instinctively recognize your authority, aligning their behavior in accordance with the stability and clarity you project. Your mind as a throne is not static. It requires continuous maintenance. Engage in deliberate reflection and disciplined thought, reinforcing patterns that signal competence and calm dominance. Cultivate patience, resist reactive impulses, and allow your presence to become a measured force that shapes interactions before they fully unfold. Let every decision, internal debate, and outward gesture contribute to an aura of untouchable authority. In social settings, micro-adjustments, pausing before responding, maintaining steady eye contact, modulating your tone, compound to establish an unshakable reputation. Respect emerges naturally when your inner kingdom is fortified, and authority radiates outward as a function of disciplined self-mastery rather than assertion of dominance. Stand firm in your sovereignty. Observe meticulously, plan strategically, and protect your internal narrative as if it were the crown jewel of your existence. Every interaction is an opportunity to reinforce the throne, assert presence, and command. Influence without coercion. Your thoughts are the soldiers, your awareness the walls, and your self-respect the banner that others rally around, consciously or unconsciously. Cultivate this internal dominion relentlessly, for the mind that rules itself will inevitably shape the behavior of those who enter its orbit. Maintain vigilance, exercise strategic foresight, and let the quiet authority of a disciplined mind dictate the terms of engagement in every social arena. I am the throne, unshakable and sovereign. Each morning is the opening salvo of your day, a battlefield where your first moves dictate the perception of competence, confidence, and command. Begin with the discipline of structured routines that fortify the mind and establish immediate authority over your environment. The simple act of rising at a consistent hour, followed by deliberate preparation, signals to yourself and others that you are in control. This ritual of dominance is not about vanity or arbitrary habit. It is the foundation from which all respect emanates. When your inner order is evident, your outward presence becomes unassailable. Attention to detail, arranging your space, choosing attire, preparing tasks, creates a silent projection of authority. Even small actions such as making your bed with precision or reviewing your priorities operate like strategic moves on our chessboard, each contributing to your perceived mastery of the day ahead. The first moves of the day carry disproportionate weight in shaping how others view your capability. Early decisions, whether responding to messages, initiating conversations, or tackling critical tasks, set the tone for interactions to follow. Perceived competence is built on repeated small victories, completing a difficult project first, or addressing a potential conflict decisively signals that you are not reactive but proactive, the commander of your own time and space. These victories, though seemingly minor, accumulate into a reputation of reliability and influence. Consider a scenario in which a colleague challenges a proposal in a morning meeting. Respond calmly, acknowledging their perspective while confidently asserting your plan. This demonstrates that your authority is grounded in clarity and preparation rather than aggression. Weak, reacting defensively and letting the situation spiral. Strong, maintaining composure and steering the outcome strategically. Visualization is your reconnaissance, the mapping of the day's battlefield before engaging. Begin each morning by anticipating potential resistance, obstacles, and interactions. Mentally deploy your resources, predict the moves of others, and prepare contingencies. This exercise sharpens situational awareness and allows you to navigate the day with strategic foresight. Even when confronted with unexpected friction, your prior mental mapping ensures you respond from a position of advantage rather than impulse. By visualizing challenges and outcomes in advance, you reduce uncertainty, project confidence, and preserve mental energy for decisive action. The act of mentally rehearsing interactions, whether difficult conversations or negotiations, ensures that when the moment arrives, you operate with precision and poise. Commit to a morning routine that integrates physical readiness, mental clarity, and strategic assessment. Allocate time for reflection, planning, and intentional action. Monitor your emotional state and adjust early to prevent distraction or disarray from undermining authority. Recognize that each day is a campaign in which first impressions, initiative, and foresight set the trajectory of influence. Small disciplined actions compound, establishing a rhythm of command that others cannot ignore. Your early choices ripple outward, shaping interactions and reinforcing your unspoken stature. Even a brief moment of hesitation or disorganization can signal weakness. Conversely, deliberate, measured engagement radiates competence. Treat every sunrise as the prelude to a campaign, where preparation and mental readiness dictate the respect and cooperation you receive. Structure your environment, prioritize critical tasks, and anticipate interactions with clarity and confidence. Maintain calm composure in the face of challenge, asserting authority through deliberate action rather than forceful assertion. These morning strategies are not optional, but foundational. Mastery over the first hour amplifies influence throughout the day. Your demeanor, choices, and foresight combine to create an aura of control that others instinctively recognize. The battlefield of morning is yours to command. Victories here resonate far beyond the opening hour. Own the dawn, command the day. Silence is a blade that cuts deeper than words, a weapon forged from restraint and sharpened by presence. When you resist the urge to fill every moment with speech, you allow gravity to settle around you, drawing attention and commanding respect without a single syllable. Your stillness becomes a statement, a declaration that you are unmoved, unhurried, and observant. Presence over words transforms ordinary exchanges into arenas where influence is measured not by volume, but by control. A measured pause before responding can halt conversation like a predator freezing its prey. The weight of anticipation forces others to reveal intent, uncertainty, and hidden motives. Your calm attention communicates dominance more effectively than argument or explanation. Silent signals extend this authority through posture, gesture, and eye contact. Every movement is deliberate. Every micro-expression conveys command. Stand tall, shoulders back, chin leveled, and let your eyes track the room with quiet calculation. Subtle cues, leaning slightly forward to signal engagement or remaining immobile to assert patience, create invisible pressure that guides interactions. Colleagues, peers, or adversaries instinctively calibrate their behavior in response to your unspoken authority. Weak, speaking constantly to assert presence. Strong, observing, responding minimally, and letting tension carry influence. This form of communication is stealthy yet potent. It conveys confidence without the need for overt displays or coercion. The psychological edge of stillness is found in observation. People reveal themselves when faced with a silent, attentive presence. Gossip, hesitation, or even enthusiasm becomes transparent, offering insights that verbal interrogation cannot uncover. Intelligence gathered through calm observation allows you to anticipate moves, detect weaknesses, and respond with precision. By remaining quiet, you collect information while preserving your own composure. A disagreement handled with silence can diffuse confrontation. When a peer challenges your plan, resist the impulse to over-explain. Allow the quiet to pressure them into reconsideration or clarification, maintaining dominance without escalation. Your inaction here is an active strategy. To weaponize stillness. Practice disciplined pauses in conversation. Focus on body alignment and subtle cues, and train your mind to observe without reacting impulsively. Integrate these techniques into daily interactions to cultivate presence that commands attention. Your restraint becomes a magnet for authority. The more deliberate your silence, the more compelling your influence. Others will instinctively measure their actions against your calm, and even subtle acknowledgement of your composure signals deference. Let every gesture, posture, and pause be intentional. Your silence carries strategy, authority, and foresight simultaneously. Embrace the power of invisible influence. Each unspoken moment, each deliberate pause builds a reputation of intelligence and command. Silence is not absence but concentrated force, a strategic weapon that projects confidence, fosters respect, and maintains a psychological advantage over those who underestimate the strength of restraint. Let your presence speak for you, and let action follow thought, measured and precise, Your stillness is a fortress, your composure a blade. Silence conquers all. Every fortress stands strongest when its weakest elements are removed. Tolerance of decay invites collapse. Respect is built on clarity, discipline, and uncompromising boundaries, not on the illusion of inclusivity or misplaced loyalty. Identify the behaviors, habits, and relationships that dilute your authority. Observe patterns of indecision, procrastination, and dependency that sap energy and erode credibility. Social ties that spread negativity, foster distraction, or challenge your values quietly undermine influence. Internal habits that excuse mediocrity or justify inaction weaken the perception of competence. Recognize these threats early, catalog them without emotion, and treat them as vulnerabilities in your strategic map. Severe connections that compromise your power without hesitation. Cutting ties is not an act of cruelty, it is the assertion of sovereignty. The predator does not negotiate with prey that threatens its domain. It removes obstacles decisively. Communicate closure calmly, with minimal explanation, maintaining dignity for yourself and clarity for others. Weak, lingering in conflicted alliances. Strong, deliberate termination of destructive ties. In professional settings, a colleague whose unreliability compromises project success should be reassigned or distanced. In personal spheres, habits that waste time or foster resentment must be replaced. Each decisive action reinforces internal boundaries and external perception. A single micro-example illustrates this. When a team member repeatedly ignores deadlines, a calm, firm conversation followed by structural reassignment asserts authority while minimizing confrontation. After removal, build fortresses to protect and consolidate your domain. Replace lost elements with disciplined routines, focused objectives, and selective alliances that strengthen rather than dilute power. Strategically design daily practices that reinforce competence and clarity. Surround yourself with people whose values align with yours and whose presence enhances performance and perception. Allocate time and energy to pursuits that yield long-term influence rather than short-term comfort. Constructing these fortresses is both defensive and offensive. They prevent erosion of authority while providing a platform for growth, making external threats less significant. The combination of decisive elimination and strategic replacement transforms vulnerability into strength and presence into dominance. Consistency is paramount. Each cycle of identification, removal, and fortification must become habitual. Vigilance ensures that decay is never tolerated, that weaknesses do not silently accumulate. The deliberate cultivation of boundaries, routines, and alliances transforms everyday life into a strategic battlefield where authority is respected without constant assertion. Practice these actions methodically, document progress, and refine decisions based on outcomes. By mastering the art of ruthless elimination, you claim space, focus resources, and signal that your domain is governed by precision and purpose. Cut decisively, reign fully. Authority is a mask you wear deliberately. Perception often precedes power. Every gesture, posture, and tone is ammunition in the silent battle for influence. Controlled expression commands attention without conflict. Stand straight, maintain measured eye contact, and modulate your voice with precision. Avoid reactive facial cues or rushed movements. Each micro-expression communicates either dominance or uncertainty. The predator does not reveal agitation. It waits, calculating. In meetings or negotiations, a pause before responding signals command more effectively than immediate agreement or rebuttal. A single example demonstrates this. When a team member challenges a proposal, respond with calm deliberation, nodding briefly before articulating your decision. Your restraint establishes authority and guides outcomes without confrontation. Strategic revelation amplifies the power of your mask. Share intentions selectively, offering clarity only when necessary, leaving room for calculated ambiguity. Reveal too much, and the enemy anticipates moves. Reveal too little, and allies may hesitate. Like a chess master, Project confidence in every opening while concealing tactical adjustments. Plan each disclosure to maximize influence and minimize exposure. Controlled sharing inspires curiosity and respect, ensuring others engage on terms you define. Weak, explaining every motive immediately. Strong, signaling purpose subtly and decisively. Use timing as a tool. Let selective transparency enforce psychological dominance without coercion. Influence extends through consistent alignment of appearance and action. Your image communicates authority even before words are exchanged. Dress, posture, and punctuality all signal internal discipline. Actions must mirror perception. Consistent delivery reinforces the mask of command. Authority is sustained when your environment, attire, and routines radiate competence. Replace reactive habits with deliberate rituals that reinforce presence. Allies and observers internalize this cohesion, and the silent message is unmistakable. You are the threshold of control, not its subject. Mastering the mask requires repetition and awareness. Every interaction becomes an opportunity to reinforce the narrative of competence and self-possession. Cultivate awareness of how you occupy space, how others interpret pauses, and how gestures convey confidence. This is not deception. It is disciplined self-presentation. The alignment of perception and reality forms a psychological fortress where influence is maintained without overt force. Your dominance grows in proportion to the consistency of your mask. Command your presence, refine your expressions, control revelations, and synchronize action with image. Through these practices, power is signaled, influence spreads quietly, and respect is earned without battle. Perception conquers all. Mastery is often invisible. Those who strike without haste are seldom challenged. Respect is earned not in reaction, but in restraint. Like a predator observing the terrain, you wait for the precise moment when opportunity aligns with objectives. Every provocation is evaluated, measured, and catalogued. Do not respond to every insult or slight. Let them pass like wind across water. Calculated response is a weapon of patience, not passivity. Observe patterns in behavior, anticipate moves, and select the moment when action will yield maximum impact with minimum exposure. Invisible precision transforms words and deeds into surgical instruments. Excessive force signals weakness, not strength. When addressing conflict, deploy statements that are deliberate, concise, and aimed at strategic outcomes. Avoid extraneous gestures or over-explained reasoning. Efficiency communicates dominance. A single measured correction within a meeting can redirect the entire group without escalating tension. One colleague challenges your approach. You respond with calm authority, outlining the plan in a few composed sentences. Control emerges through clarity, not volume. Weak, reacting immediately to every challenge. Strong, responding selectively, surgically. With purpose. Dominance through restraint becomes the silent language of power. Those who dictate the timing of their strikes are feared and respected, more than those who act impulsively. Each delayed response reinforces psychological control, establishing the perception that you operate on a higher plane, like a chess master, sacrificing pieces for long-term advantage. Choose moments that optimize influence and minimize exposure. The battlefield of social interactions favors the patient strategist. Observe, calculate, and strike only when the conditions favor success. Internalize the rhythm of restraint. Let patience become instinct. Map the terrain of influence before acting. Guard against reactionary impulses and overcommitment. By mastering the timing, you convert potential threats into opportunities for authority reinforcement. Your presence becomes a quiet, commanding force. Allies follow your lead, rivals hesitate, and the narrative bends toward your control without overt aggression. Command your actions, respond selectively, act with invisible precision, and enforce dominance through restraint. The unseen strike carries the weight of sovereignty. Patience conquers all. Reputation is a living force, a predator that hunts in silence. You must feed it carefully, selecting the terrain where your influence thrives and avoiding arenas that dilute authority. Each action, no matter how small, contributes to the narrative others carry about you. Engage only in matters where respect is earned and attention multiplies. Avoid entanglements that drain credibility or expose weaknesses. The predator does not chase every scent. It targets what sustains power. Consistency in action fortifies. Perception. Repeated victories, however minor, accumulate like sharpened claws on a stalking animal. When colleagues see unwavering dedication and reliable results, your presence becomes a stabilizing force. Inconsistency invites doubt, allowing competitors to exploit hesitation. Build momentum with deliberate steps that reinforce your capabilities, and demonstrate steady command. Even in disagreement, handle interactions with calm authority. One team member challenges a decision, and you respond with concise reasoning that redirects focus without diminishing standing. Weak, reacting emotionally. To criticism. Strong, responding with measured clarity and purpose. Strategic alliances nourish your reputation like a pack reinforces a lone hunter. Surround yourself with those who amplify your influence, offering credibility, resources, and mutual respect. Distance yourself from those who dilute authority or invite scrutiny through erratic behavior. Each connection should be intentional, serving to elevate rather than diminish the perception of your capability. Network selectively. Prioritize collaboration with aligned individuals and avoid impulsive associations that fragment influence. Observe how partnerships function, adjust your proximity accordingly, and let alliances reflect the strength of your position. Guard your image, cultivate discipline, and invest in actions that reinforce authority. Avoid overexposure and let consistency become instinctual. The wolf thrives not through reckless pursuit, but through calculated nourishment and focused energy. Each choice, each interaction becomes part of a living system that strengthens your standing without overt aggression. Preserve reputation like a predator tending its domain, selectively nourishing it for sustained dominance. Feed selectively, act consistently, and align with power. Let every move reinforce the unseen force of your influence. Nourish strength silently. Life is a chessboard, each interaction a calculated move that shapes perception and influence. Anticipate moves by observing patterns in behavior, noting tendencies and responses. Study social dynamics as a strategist studies opponents. Each conversation, each decision reveals intentions and vulnerabilities. Predict shifts before they occur, positioning yourself to benefit rather than react. Weak, acting on impulse. Strong, calculating steps in advance. Control the center of influence. Identify the domains where your presence carries the greatest weight and assert authority there. Whether in a professional setting, social circle, or digital platform, prioritize spaces where your decisions affect outcomes. Guard these areas vigilantly, ensuring consistency and reliability. Authority becomes tangible when your influence spans crucial touchpoints, creating a gravitational pull that others recognize and respect. Avoid scattering attention. Divided focus diminishes control. Sacrifice wisely. Not every confrontation warrants engagement. Respect your energy as a limited resource. Invest it in battles that advance objectives and strengthen positioning. Recognize when yielding a minor point preserves credibility or opens strategic advantage elsewhere. Even in disagreement, respond with composed reasoning. A colleague challenges a proposal, and you acknowledge their perspective while reinforcing the central plan, demonstrating command without escalation. Weak, reacting defensively. Strong, measured reinforcement. Each move, whether assertive or restrained, contributes to the overarching strategy of influence. Repetition and foresight forge reliability, while selective engagement prevents unnecessary exposure. Treat every interaction as a piece on the board, maneuvering to secure advantage and limit vulnerability. Align alliances and decisions to strengthen central control, anticipate repercussions, and maintain clarity of purpose. Navigate life deliberately, act where impact is maximized, and expend energy only in battles that matter. Let foresight, positioning, and restraint dictate outcomes. Master the board. Discipline is the sword that cuts through chaos, forging a mind unshakable and a presence undeniable. Begin each day with habits of kings, Routines anchor perception. They signal competence before words are spoken. Wake, plan, execute, reflect. Each repetition strengthens authority and reinforces reliability. Small victories compound, building a foundation that others intuitively recognize as command. Your schedule becomes the shield behind which influence stands, untouchable yet visible through consistent mastery. Resistance training fortifies more than the body. It tempers the mind against discomfort and unpredictability. Seek challenges that push limits, whether early mornings, public speaking, or confronting difficult decisions. Exposure to controlled discomfort teaches resilience, enabling you to maintain composure when social dynamics turn tense. A colleague questions your approach. You listen, nod, then calmly explain your reasoning, demonstrating steadiness that disarms challenge without aggression. Weak, reacting defensively. Strong, responding with unshakable poise. Invisible power arises when discipline is internalized. Mastery over self radiates outward, an aura commanding respect without demand. Your consistency, endurance, and controlled action communicate authority more efficiently than any declaration. Observe how individuals adjust behavior around someone whose routines and resilience are evident. They align, defer, or cooperate because discipline signals reliability and competence. Integrate rituals that strengthen body, mind, and schedule. Execute them without hesitation, regardless of external pressure. Treat each repetition as armor, each discomfort as conditioning, and each act of self-mastery as reinforcement of your throne. Maintain focus where influence matters most, and conserve energy for meaningful engagements. Authority grows quietly but unmistakably, forged in daily acts rather than grand gestures. Command yourself relentlessly. Anchor routines, embrace discomfort, and let mastery speak. I endure, I prevail. Authority is born where thought, action, and presence converge into seamless command. Your mind, disciplined through ritual, becomes the strategist that sees the battlefield before it forms. Every habit, every calculated move reinforces the perception of mastery. Converge your principles daily. Align intention with execution and observation with response. The synchronization of mind and action signals competence and steadiness that others cannot ignore. Construct a psychological shield through consistent behavior and visible mastery. Attempts to undermine or provoke fail because they encounter a mind prepared, resilient, and unflinching. Colleagues challenge a decision. You respond with measured reasoning, clarity, and calm, neutralizing dissent before it escalates. Weak, reacting with defensiveness. Strong, responding with composed authority. Through this disciplined response, you teach without confrontation, commanding respect silently. Silent sovereignty emerges when influence flows naturally from your presence. Authority requires no verbal claim. It is recognized and honored automatically. Your reputation, grounded in visible rituals and consistent action, radiates a quiet power that shapes interactions without effort. Others defer because consistency and mastery create reliability. Unpredictability and chaos are absent. Integrate every lesson, ritual, and strategic principle. Forge your identity in action, not declaration. Guard energy for critical engagements, remain composed under pressure, and allow mastery to speak louder than any statement. Every choice reflects alignment of thought, intention, and presence, producing a persona that is untouchable in perception and influence. Command yourself relentlessly, embody principles, and let the world respond. I am untouchable. Authority is forged where mind, body, strategy, and presence converge into a single unyielding force. Visualize yourself as the apex predator, the sovereign of every social battlefield you enter. Every action, ritual, and decision compounds, building irreversible momentum that others instinctively recognize and respect. Mastery is not granted. It is earned through disciplined alignment of intention, perception, and execution. Every detail of your conduct signals dominance and composure. Construct full-spectrum authority by integrating cognition, posture, expression, and timing. Approach each interaction as a calculated engagement. Listen as the chess master observes the board, move with precision and respond with measured decisiveness. Presence becomes a language in itself, conveying competence without words. Physicality, tone, and gaze reinforce internal mastery, producing an aura that precludes challenge. When a subordinate or peer questions a decision, respond with calm, reasoning and strategic clarity, demonstrating control without aggression. Weak, defensiveness or over-explanation. Strong, measured articulation of rationale. Internalize rituals that condition the mind and body for consistent performance. Morning routines, reflection, and disciplined rehearsal fortify mental resilience and situational awareness. Expose yourself to controlled discomfort. Endure tension deliberately to cultivate adaptability and patience. The apex predator thrives, not by chance, but through repeated confrontation with challenge under controlled conditions. These daily exercises translate into automatic confidence in complex social arenas. Build psychological momentum where respect is inevitable. Repetition of strategic action generates compounding authority. Each success reinforces perception and command. When boundaries are tested, maintain calm firmness, allowing restraint and clarity to demonstrate dominance. Every interaction becomes a reinforcement of your unassailable position. Social and professional environments respond predictably to competence and consistency. By aligning thought, action, and perception, you become untouchable in influence, commanding adherence without coercion. Conquer the battlefield of life by preparation, foresight, and disciplined execution. Anticipate obstacles, neutralize threats before they manifest, and approach every challenge with calm, calculated decisiveness. Your reputation precedes you, creating deterrence without confrontation. Each encounter, each negotiation, each public gesture compounds your authority. Failures diminish, opportunities expand. Power maximizes where preparation meets relentless, integrated mastery. Operate as both strategist and sovereign. Observe the environment, adapt tactics to evolving conditions, and maintain poise under pressure. Respond to provocation with measured authority rather than reaction, and allow others' perceptions to confirm your unshakable position. Your mind functions as a command center, your presence as fortification, your rituals as armaments. Authority is both seen and felt. It cannot be granted, only embodied. Embody convergence in all dimensions of life. Let every habit, interaction, and decision serve the ultimate objective of mastery. Let perception mirror reality, disciplined, decisive, unyielding. Authority becomes self-perpetuating. Others respect. Instinctively, boundaries are honored without enforcement and influence flows effortlessly. The apex predator does not ask for dominance. It exists as a fact, silently acknowledged by all who encounter it. Rise relentlessly. Integrate principles and move with irreversible momentum. Dominate every sphere of influence, secure every interaction, and fortify your position with calm, unshakable discipline. The throne is internal, the battlefield is external, and mastery is both lived and observed. Command, act, endure, and let presence speak louder than words. I am the apex. Internalize the 7 rules as though they are the walls of your fortress, the armor of your mind, and the edge of your blade. Treat them as non-negotiable disciplines. Observe, reflect, execute, and adjust without hesitation. Each day you rehearse these principles. You consolidate mental and social sovereignty, creating a presence that commands attention without effort. Your demeanor signals that boundaries are inviolable and respect is automatic, not requested. Approach. Interactions as a general survey of a battlefield. Anticipate moves, recognize patterns, and respond with precision. Weak, reactive compliance. Strong, deliberate assertion. Enforce your authority through consistent, ritualized action. Begin with deliberate routines that prime focus and resilience. Stand and move with intention. Speak with measured clarity, and carry the weight of disciplined preparation into every encounter. When a colleague challenges your plan, respond with calm reasoning, demonstrating mastery without hostility. Others observe composure, and by mirroring internal order, they submit to your influence naturally. The subtlety of power lies in silent command. Presence, tone, and consistent behavior outweigh rhetoric or coercion. Embody the commanding mantra daily. Repeat it mentally before key interactions, internalizing the identity of one who governs thought, reaction, and perception alike. I am the throne, the storm, the shadow. I endure, I command, I am untouchable. Let it guide posture, expression, and decision-making, ensuring that authority is felt in every gesture and word. By anchoring your mind in this mantra, you reinforce internal discipline and external perception simultaneously. Maintain your legacy of respect through persistent application. Influence grows cumulatively when actions are deliberate, consistent, and aligned with principles. Do not bend to pressure or distraction. Your presence and adherence to rules create predictable outcomes in social and professional arenas. Others learn to rely on your steadiness, acknowledging boundaries and respecting your judgment. Over time, this stability becomes the foundation of unassailable authority. Crown yourself daily through reflection, execution, and reaffirmation of principles. Each disciplined act, each measured response, each tactical choice compounds into a life where influence is natural, respect is automatic, and freedom is preserved. Treat the rules as permanent instruments of power and let them sculpt your interactions, decisions, and habits. Your mind is the command center, your presence the fortress, and your discipline the weapon that shapes outcomes. Operate without aggression, but with unwavering clarity. Let calm judgment replace reaction, preparation replace improvisation, and presence replace persuasion. Those around you recognize authority not because it is demanded, but because it is embodied. Every interaction reinforces your position. Every routine fortifies your sovereignty. Authority becomes self-sustaining as discipline and perception align. Rise deliberately, enforce rituals, and embody the rules. Let each day solidify the connection between principle, action, and influence. The throne is internal, and mastery is lived. Approach life as a strategist, a sovereign, and a predator, commanding without conflict, directing without force, and enduring without compromise. I am untouchable.